today's conversation and our live will be in English. And I hope you see me well. And I will try to invite today's guest, AYO Noah. And hi, Loma joined. Loma, can you? Okay, you hear me well. Okay, I will try to invite AYO. And so we can start this conversation. You invite, and I think I see also invite from you. I hope it will work one way or another. Hi, it
Yay,
worked.
that was so
It
fast.
was fast. Yeah, I was already
Because
like
the
hoping
last
up.
time I tried to do this with another lady, it was a pain in the ass. But
Yeah.
hello.
Hello. I have had like 70 or more Instagram lives, and yeah, sometimes it just flows, and other times it's like 3 or 4 times to try to join.
Yes.
But, but, hello everyone. So today we have a exception in our channel because our conversation will be in English, and we have very special guest and also my personal inspiration, Ayo Noah. Hi, Ayo.
Hello, gorgeous. Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm so excited to have you. And you know what? This year I already start to wrap up everything I've done, and I'll be thinking on what's my personal inspiration and everything I do, and also in my business. And I realized that I love and I want for people to remember, especially for women, that we are unlimited in in our potential, in our creation, in our all sorts of expressions. However, the mainstream paradigm tells another story, especially for women. And you are one of very few persons who I know personally who have kind of breached this paradigm and already achieved so
Right.
much. And I thought like you will be valuable gift also for my auditory for end of the year, maybe to reframe our aims and dreams for the next year, and just hear your story. And before we start, I really would like to just touch upon a few things you have already done. And so you are founder of 6 companies, and
Seven now officially.
seven, seven. Okay, because you have startup right now also, right?
When we started, the baby is in gestation. So the seventh company is a little fetus right now. So it is official. Seven companies officially.
Wow, it's yeah, 7 companies. So I'm trying to juggle two, and it feels like a challenge. You have seven, and you also have already 7 million revenue, which is
Today.
remarkable. Yeah,
Yeah.
true. And you are self-made, self-made woman, self-made
Yes.
millionaire. And you also are a founder of the Brilliant Women's Movement. And one of the reasons also I wanted to talk to you because you just recently published your third book, The
Yeah.
Future of Business is Female. And this is something I also personally believe in, that in general, future of humanity is female, but also the part of the business is female. And some of the things like you also, I'm running the biggest self development and mindfulness platform in Latvia, and you are also in mindfulness and coaching. You have coached over 5,000 entrepreneurs, and you have students across the world.
20,000.
Yeah, 20,000 students across the world, and uh, for me personally, I think the most impressive is that okay, you become a self-made millionaire, but you also have helped to 25 women to become a millionaires, which is like, oh my gosh, I get shivers when I think
I
of it.
got shivers when you said it too, honestly.
Yeah, and and often when we hear those stories, we kind of, especially we also come from Europe, from Eastern Europe, and maybe in the US it's a different story. But here it seems like, it's possible for some people out there, but it's not our story. And maybe we could start this conversation. You could tell more about like what's your background, where you come from, and what has been your journey up today? Because I'm sure it hasn't been so smooth, and you have more, maybe also some personal milestones you would touch upon, you would love to touch upon, and which were maybe not so glamorous from outside, but very important for you.
Yes, well, funny that you asked me this question because I am actually right now exactly where I come from. I recently landed in Bulgaria, in my hometown. In this is the apartment where I grew up. So I come from time to time here to visit my mom, and every single time I come here, it's a bittersweet experience because it's sweet because I get to see my family, but it's also bitter because I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish this country could be in a better state by now. So, if you're probably watching the news, you've seen that there have been massive protests happening in Bulgaria, my home country. They have taken down the government. Everybody is celebrating, and I'm like, what are you celebrating? There's so much work to be done. This is like, we're literally doing bare minimum. And I come from a country where entrepreneurship doesn't exist. In fact, I was having in the gym right now conversation with someone. I just came back from the gym, and we were I was speaking, people think that they have done something incredible to take down the government, but that's like, it's just so small. What we need to do is to make sure that entrepreneurial spirit exists in this country, and it doesn't. Unlike Latvia, by the way,
Mhm.
in these countries there, up in the north, you guys, you're not the typical Eastern European. We here, we I don't necessarily still believe in entrepreneurship. And the saddest part is that this is another Bulgarian is actually on the live, Katya.
Hi.
She's watching. She even messaged in Bulgarian. She's like, oh my gosh, you are in Bulgaria, we can see each
Mm.
other. I would love to if we were in the same geographical part
Yeah.
of Bulgaria. But Katya can also probably also support that entrepreneurship is still not a thing in Bulgaria, and it's not a thing for women still to
Mm.
this date. And I feel that entrepreneurship is one of the things that will empower women because unfortunately, we spoke about my book, The Future of Businesses is Female, and the book is out. And after 4 years of research, unfortunately, we're still not getting there when it comes to the corporate world.
Mm.
So we're speaking about the world to have it all, but we need to understand how women operate. Women cannot have it all the way men do just because we have this huge thing called giving birth. And even though I'm not a mom,
Mm.
I coach thousands of women who are moms. You are a mom as well.
Yes.
So, entrepreneurship to date is the only opportunity for us to make a lot of money and to be financially in a good state and have it all because the corporate world is still not allowing us to do that in a lot of aspects. Many countries are taking the step to make things better, but again, it's like scratching the surface. When you look at things,
Mhm.
it's almost like we have these big words and we say, oh my gosh, yes, we've done this and we've taken this law and this is the change that we've done. And then when we look at home, she's coming back and she's fucking exhausted and
Mhm.
she's doing the job of 7 people. And then she's in the corporate world and then she's underpaid. And we're like, what is going on? Things are not working properly. And so entrepreneurship is the thing that has changed everything for me. And I think that my advantage, so I come from one of the poorest country in the European Union. I
Mm.
say in my book that it looks like when you land in Bulgaria, there's a lot of places that look like a ghetto in another country, and it's like the city center. And I
Mm.
actually take a lot of backlash from Bulgarians who are like nationalists, and they're like, it's the best place. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, but my city center, literally, there's a photo of my city center that looks like a ghetto. And people get
Mm.
offended here. And I'm like, guys, we need to face the truth. And we need to face the truth. We are far behind. Entrepreneurship is the way. And I'm very privileged that I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So my parents, they have their own pottery store and they were artists. They are artists, but they're also entrepreneurs. So I was taken to the store when I was a child. I was
Mhm.
40 days. 40 days, like this big. When they
Maybe.
took me in the store and I saw, wow, this thing called I have my own business is a cool thing. And that gave me the opportunity to, after that, grow to where I am. So the journey has been long. The journey was not easy. And I call myself self made because we use this word for me to say, I didn't have the backup of the government, unlike a lot of countries. Like when COVID was happening, literally every single entrepreneur that I know was getting some kind of support by the government. And because I was Bulgarian and because some of my companies are registered in different places in the world, I had no support. I haven't had investors supporting me. My family is not rich at all. I didn't have any connections anywhere whatsoever. I wasn't supported by a male partner ever. And so these things, I'm not saying for you to think, oh, look at you. These things are said to understand that if you want something, you can make it happen.
Yeah. Uh, I totally believe it myself. And even though you said, and yes, I have been in Bulgaria, and I can say that, yes, it felt like 10 years backwards from here.
Not 10, unfortunately. You're
Yeah.
very kind. It feels like we're 30 years backwards. It literally hurts my heart when I see it. I'm like, why, guys? We're moving this way. Why are we moving this way? We were there. Let's go this way. But anyway, sorry to break your word, but this is something that it really, because there's so much potential. When I go to Dubai, I live in Dubai a lot of the time, and I see how governors and people there, people in power, they use their brain to create a hub where people can go. We have this potential. We can turn this into an entrepreneurial hub and compete with prices. We can be so smart, and still we're not. But that's another topic, and we're not here to discuss the situation of Bulgaria. But yes, not 10 years. 10 years is generous. We're like probably 30 years. And 30 years is generous as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it felt different. And yes, I think also our luck is that we are closer to Scandinavia and also already like Germany and on those big countries. But uh okay, you started there, but at which, and you also have worked with corporate and big names, and at which moment you realized that okay, you maybe have certain success there, but like the also the bravery and the courage to start your own business, because lots of women in corporate, especially if they are somewhat successful, they are fearing to leave the business, the corporate, because the business is it is unknown. It's unknown. Nothing is guaranteed.
Well, the corporate doesn't know nothing is guaranteed. You can lose your
Yeah.
job tomorrow. And the
Yeah.
thing in business is, you know, you're losing your
Mm,
job because you're in the
mm,
numbers. You're like, uh-oh, the numbers are not numbering. So for me, the corporate was, and I had a situation like that. So just for the listeners to know and to make the dots, I actually left the country when I was 19. So I
mhm,
left pretty soon. And I started, besides having my corporate jobs, and I used to work for companies like Microsoft, Apple, Reuters, like big names, I was still a freelancer as well. So
mhm,
being a freelancer is also a lot about being an entrepreneur because I had to actually I was an entrepreneur. It was just that it was just me. I was self-employed as well as a
mhm,
freelancer. And so for me, when I started working, and by the way, I've been working since I was 12, well, different type
wow,
of jobs, but I was working, I was employed by someone else since I was 12. That's when my father died, and I had to,
look
take
for
the
me.
charge.
Mhm,
And I realized, oh, I don't take very well leadership, and specifically leadership coming from men, maybe because my father passed away, I didn't have a man to give me orders. So for me, it was hard to listen to other male figures. And all of my bosses happened to be males. And so I was like, this is really, really hard. This is hard. I can't do that. And so I started on the side. I was in these big companies. By the way, I was in these big companies. I was studying, I was doing my bachelor degree And on top of that, I was doing side gigs. So for everybody saying it's tough to start a business, well, I understand, but choose your heart. Like I was doing three things at the same time, and I don't regret it even for a second, to be honest with you, because it gave me so much more opportunity. But I saw, first of all, whoa, I was making quite a lot of money with that. I was in my 20s when I already had five-figure months. Like I was making more than 10K every single month because I was in the corporate world. Plus, I had side gigs as as an entrepreneur
Mhm.
slash freelancer. So for me, it was very clear that this is the path. And when it comes to uncertainty, this is a myth actually. So entrepreneurship is not risky at all. In fact, entrepreneurs are the most calculated people. We try to avoid the risk.
Mhm.
It's the opposite. So a lot of people are like, oh, when you're an entrepreneur, it's all about the risk. You're a risk taker. I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about, because entrepreneurs try to avoid risk
Mhm.
by any means. So entrepreneurship for me is the most certain thing because you are in your numbers, you know exactly what's happening. Yes, it is risky because one month you can make a lot of money and then the next month you might not make a lot of money. But let me tell you something, I used to work for a very famous company. I can't say their name because of the situation that happened, but I'm telling you, world level gigantic company. And they literally told me, well, Ayo, we're cutting your salary in half from tomorrow because we're about to go almost into bankruptcy. By the way, they had to close one of their magazines. Again, I can't say the name, huge company, but they literally told me from the next day. Like,
Mhm.
next day, oh, sorry, but we will pay you in half. And I'm like, guys, I live in a penthouse. Like, what are we doing? And I'm so glad that at that point I already had a lot of foundation with my freelance business. I already had so many companies that I was working for that for me the transition was like, this doesn't make sense, I'm just gonna go.
Okay.
So everybody who feels like entrepreneurship is risky, everything, there's nothing, we live on a
Yes.
planet, nothing, nothing is promised on this planet, so enjoy the
Yes.
ride.
Yeah, especially I mean, my previous business, I was in restaurants, and then came in
Oh,
touristic areas, and then came COVID, and
that's the
you know,
toughest business.
yeah, it was
Restaurants,
like, yeah, and then it was like, okay,
toughest.
and it's like, who could imagine that? It was like, but the same as you say with any other job. But you also like, so my platform, my clients and also my auditory, most of them are female. And yes, in this country, in this area of the world, we have quite high rates of female managers. And we have also quite a lot of female businesses, but most of them are like uh, smaller businesses like cafes and I don't know, beauty area of beauty and wellness, and but when it comes to the uh, bigger businesses and bigger support, like we've been also talking about startup area before, then the support for female is not the same as for men, and it's not like my emotions talking. It's like numbers are there, but you have also worked with so many women, and what, in your opinion, are those typical female characteristics, or maybe also mindset things, which slows us down, which stops us for, being more bold, going for bigger aims, so daring to start. And on contrary, you also have seen most likely a lot of things which we have, like also like advantages which we undervalue or even don't notice within ourselves, which actually is also advantage in the business.
Absolutely. Well, first, before we dive into that, and I mentioned this in my book as well, because this is important to say, it's important to say that first and foremost, women are really programmed physically, biologically designed to be really good leaders and really good entrepreneurs. We have it in ourselves. Biologically, we have it for many reasons that I don't want to go into details right now because it's going to get very geeky. I love biology. You can grab the book, read it in the book, but First, I want to start with that because this is very important, because this is part of the problem. Why? Because we have been programmed for years to believe that we're not good with money and with leadership just because we haven't been given the equal opportunity. Now, these external influences, we have a lot of external influences. Society still punishes women for wanting to be leaders, make a lot of money, and have successful companies. And the world still is not making it easy for us just because of how the whole world is constructed. The world is constructed for men, and men operate on a very different way biologically. So it's almost like, it's almost like telling a fish to fly. That's
Mm.
pretty much how it is. So the fish wouldn't be able to fly. Why judge the fish when you tell the fish to fly, or you tell a bird to go and like swim properly? Like, we're not even speaking about ducks, but you get what I mean, right? So it is the external problems that really affect us, and they affect us on a very deep subconscious level, because we are grow up with these identities that are stopping us from being successful. And a lot of the time, these subtle programs, we don't even hear them. And I catch myself so often, to be honest with you, even with myself, when I have these doubts and I have these questions and I'm not sure, but I'm not technical, but I'm not this, but I'm not that, but I'm from Bulgaria, but,
Mhm.
and these influence how you make decisions, how you show up, and the kind of a company that you create, right? So we have
Yes.
all of these external things. And by the way, the external things, they start from the top. So they start from governments, institutions, then they go lower down schools, then they go lower down friends, then they go lower down caretakers, then they go lower down family. So we have this funnel that is blocking women from understanding how powerful they are when it comes to leadership and business and making money. We are geniuses when it comes to
Mhm.
that, especially when we are giving the opportunity. So a lot of the things that hold us back are external, but they are internalized. And a
Yeah.
lot of the time, it starts with a woman who just doesn't believe she can grow, she can achieve, and she can have more. And she's in this kind of like bubble when she thinks, oh, I need the support of this and this and this. Let me just go get married and wait for somebody to help me. Whereas the beast is in you. Like, you just have to
Mm.
unleash the beast. This is really important. So this is number one, okay? The
Mhm.
external factors that brainwashes, they literally rewire how the brain thinks and feels, your cells, everything in your body. Then from there, we move into systematically in the world. What are we seeing? We're seeing women still are not getting enough into schools for entrepreneurship. Yes, we're having a big number of women getting degrees, but they're still not interested in technology, in innovation, in entrepreneurship, like the real things that change the world. I often say I love beauty and I love fashion, but I think we have enough lipsticks and bras. Like, enough, enough. Like,
Mm.
let's start thinking of better solutions as women, because we know what's missing in the market. So schools, we also lack enough investment. Like, the numbers of women being supported by investors, and you know that I see your face because we've had this conversation a thousand
Mm.
times. It is crazy. Women get at best 1% of the world funding, at best. Oh, this is
Mm.
ridiculous. And a lot of the times, it's not just because investors say no, it's because women don't even go to apply for that. They take their own money. That's what they
Mm.
do, or they put it on a card, or they go and ask their cousin to give them, or their husband, or their friends, when there's so much money. Like, I actually follow quite a lot of Instagram accounts which are specifically about investing.
Mhm.
I kid you not, every single day I see the craziest companies, and I'm like, how the hell did I get invested in?
Mm.
Like, who the hell puts money in this? And they put money. We're speaking about a valuation of 1 billion. 1 billion for what? It's like the dumbest app in the
Mhm.
world. Why? What? So
Yeah.
we have that, and then that leaks into personal qualities. For example, she is not confident. She doesn't have proper communication skills. She doesn't know how to negotiate. She doesn't know how to sell. She doesn't take herself seriously. She doesn't want to stay in discomfort. She wants to be in comfort. Like women are so good with discomfort, but somehow I think that lately entrepreneurship has been so glamorized to look at the, and I know I'm part of the problem lately with my lifestyle and the vacations and the Rolls Royces and all of that, but it takes time to get to this and it's
Mm.
uncomfortable in the beginning. So all of these things work together. The solution is for you to sit down and to really ask yourself, what do I want to create in this life? No,
Mm.
seriously, if I'm on my deathbed, what do I want to achieve? And then go after it. You will figure it out. You will find a way, but just choose the bigger dream, choose the bigger impact, knowing that as a woman, nothing is in your way. I mean, you were built like you're a Terminator. You are so powerful. Just go and do it. You will figure it. And if you fail, so what? Who cares? Do you think people go to bed at night and they're like, oh, she failed. I watch her fail. Do you think at their deathbed, when people are dying, they will be like, remember in 2025 when IO failed?
Yes.
No one will remember. They will forget it. I mean, have we all forgotten that Kim Kardashian's mom leaked her sex tape? Nobody
Mm.
cares. She's
Oh my
rich.
goodness.
Nobody cares. Like every single day, Elon Musk, all of his failures are incredible. No, nobody goes to bed and they're like, remember when
Mm.
Elon Musk said this thing that was so dumb and the stocks in Tesla no,
No.
nobody thinks about that.
Nobody
No,
cares.
you're not that important. That's what I tell people when people are like, "Oh, but what?" I'm like, "You're not that important. People have their own problems, their own lives. They will talk about you for a day or two, and then they will talk about somebody else. Just go and do it."
I wanted to ask, like, so when I met you, like, you also you have this weird blend of both being very very self-aware and confident, and at the same time, to you can be very kind of laid back and soft, and this confidence, like, I mean, to be in soft, we as the women, we can be in a soft, we know how it is, but to be so confident, this confidence in you, it was, I don't know when you started, or it's something you also have build upon through whatever you've done, through success, through failure, to all your experiences. Because, like, okay, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm not so confident, so I shouldn't start.
Yes. Confidence is a muscle.
Hmm.
You build it. Nobody is born confident. Yes, probably some people. You know why I'm confident? Because I have always had my back, no matter what. I knew that when shit goes to hell, I'll be the first one to grab myself out. So I teach my students this all the time. Confidence, ambition, drive, desire, becoming the one is not a mantra, is not a meditation. You can meditate every single day to become rich. You will not become rich. You will not become successful. You will not become healthy unless you really act as this person every day. And so, for me to be confident, I had to prove to myself, nobody else, that no matter what happens, I will figure it out. And
Mm.
I've done this at school and I've done the hard thing. So I often tell people start challenging yourself every day to do the hard stuff. So, for example, I lift so heavy in the gym every single day. I will die sometimes. I'm like, I am done. Like, people look at me in the gym and they're like, are you competing for a marathon? I'm like, the marathon of life.
Mm.
And so, and I look at myself in the mirror when I do these things, and I'm like, you can do this. You can go 5 more kilos. Even though I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna
Mm.
spit out my liver in a bit. This is how it is. And
Strawberry.
and then this is a lot of people might say, oh, this is so masculine. It's not masculine. It is called discipline and the softness. You know when the softness comes is when you are hard enough in these moments. And when I say hard enough, I mean you're composed enough, you're disciplined enough, and then In these moments, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I
Mm,
love you. You,
mm,
you are so good. You're so amazing. And I do this with myself very often. Like literally yesterday, I just look at my environment and I looked at a couple of things and I literally tapped myself and I'm like, you're doing a good job. You're doing a
mm,
good job. I'm so proud of you. Look at how far you've come. And this morning I was looking, I was like, are those abs coming out? Are those abs? I'm like,
mm,
girl. And I was cheering and I was like, you got this, girl. This is where the softness comes, but you have to
mm,
constantly make a promise to yourself. Keep the promise. If you tell yourself you're gonna start eating healthy and you don't,
mm,
and even one cheat, this is where real confidence comes. Like today, for example, I went into the gym and I've promised myself I'm not gonna eat bad carbs at all. I'm predominantly protein based.
mm,
And they had this huge pastry. Somebody had a birthday, and they had this huge pastry that I love, I love, I love. It's like this bread with cheese, and I'm like,
mm.
and she's like, here, and I'm like, not today, Devo, not today. She's like, no, 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 take, you look so good. She continues. So this is literally
Mm,
something is testing me. No, 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 take. And I'm like, no, 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 I don't eat that. And a
mm,
lot of people will say, oh, I'm gonna treat myself just once. I deserve it. This is
mm,
softness. It's not. Because
mm,
I promised myself literally a couple of days ago, I will not eat this anymore because it doesn't make me feel good. It's not healthy actually to eat
mm,
this. Why would I do that to myself when I have premium food that I can eat and then I'm gonna go and eat this? And she continued insisting, and I'm like, "Ooh, the devil is outside today.
mm.
Mm-mm, not today, devil. Not
Oh my
today." And
God.
I continued saying no. And when I went out, I was like, "Huh, look at you. Well done." And I came, I ate my protein, my eggs, and I was like, "Let's go." So this is how you build confidence. When you tell yourself, I'm gonna stick to every single promise that I make. You make a promise, I'm gonna start something, you don't. I'm gonna invest in something, and then you're not showing up. You're saying, I'm gonna be a different woman from tomorrow, and you're not. You have the same thoughts, the
Mm,
same patterns, the same, say everything is the same. Why do you expect different results?
mm.
And then subconsciously, psychologically, actually, if you read a little bit of psychology, every single person says that when you don't stick to your promises, your subconscious mind says you're a liar.
Yes.
You're a liar. I'm not gonna believe you. Oh, you wanna make that little business? Oh, you're not gonna do that. I know because you failed with this, 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 and this, and this. So stick to your promises. Do the hard things. I jumped from a plane 6 times.
Mm,
Just this, you have to learn to provoke yourself every single day. Whether if it's going to be you going live and you're like, oh my gosh, what would the world say? Do it 20,000 times. You are afraid of driving, go and drive, but just be safe. Go jump from the plane, go and do the things that scare, sign up for the boxing class. All the women, by the way, get into stop with that Pilates, please. I get it, it's tough. Get into something that is going to make you go forward. Go and punch something, go into a jiu-jitsu class, go into boxing class, go and do something that's gonna get you out, and you're gonna get forward, and you're going to be bold, and you're going to do the scary things
mm,
every single day that stress you out so much. Go and do it, and one day you will wake up and you will be invincible. Like literally, at this point nothing scares me. I like, if aliens come to abduct me, I'm like, what's up? It's just like I've been through so much at this point.
mm,
It's like a game, you play the game of life. That's like Florence Scovel Shinn, one of my favorite authors, playing the game of life. And in
mm,
fact, I was in the shower right after the gym and I'm like, oh, what else do I want to do? What else do I want to play in this life? Like, what am I doing for 2026? Because I've achieved everything I wanted in 2025. Literally my whole list is done.
mm.
And I'm like, ooh, what's the next fun thing that I can do in 2026? Like, what kind of woman I want to be? Now that builds confidence, real
Mm.
confidence.
Yeah, because I actually never thought about this, but it is like you say, we are very comfortable by discomfort created by others. like
Hmm.
environment, I don't know, people close to us, we can tolerate it for a very long time, but then at the
Oh
same
yeah,
time we are so afraid to challenge discomfort ourselves, like oftentimes, like
do
uh,
it. Do it.
yeah.
Do it with food. Do it with get into a calorie deficit. Just challenge yourself a little bit. Challenge yourself with
Mm,
hunger, just a little bit. And for
mm,
women, however, this is really important. Stress is not the way it affects men. So for men, stress is actually really good. They thrive
mm,
in
mm,
stressful
mm,
situations. When I say to challenge yourself, I'm not saying you to get into the most stressful situation of your life. Like, just be careful because you can actually run yourself into the opposite.
mm,
But explore your capacity. For example, one thing I will never do is I never take ice baths. Like, people are like,
mm,
you must be the kind of a person. I'm like, no,
mm,
because this is not good for me. Or I will
mm,
not do long fasts. I will not fast for 3 days. I'm so sorry. Like, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me. Just go and look at the research. For women, fasting 3 days is actually not good. It's
mm,
actually the opposite of
opposite.
what it should do. For men, perfect. Heavy weights, yes. More heavy weights, yes.
Mm,
Um, Going and doing boxing or doing jujitsu or doing these, yes, definitely good for women. Going and starting a business, yes. Should you go and do a business that is not like, I would never advise anybody to open a restaurant. Sorry, but
no.
it's that's next
Mm,
level. Unless you are the best chef on planet Earth and
mm,
you're such a great chef, and you have the spiel, and you know, and you figured it out, maybe you can try, but that's the difficult thing. So you need to find the balance, how to challenge yourself every single day, and of course be mindful of your nervous system, not to drive yourself into burnout, because that's very possible.
mm,
And by the way, that happens, that balance happens when you experiment and you learn about yourself. I'm always so shocked when people don't spend enough time to explore themselves. What's my capacity? What's my potential?
mm,
What's my limit? How far can I go? How heavy can I lift? How much can I challenge myself? And then take it to the next level, and then to the next. It's a game. It's literally a game that we play, and it's fun, to be honest with you. Sometimes it's not very fun, I have to admit. Sometimes you're just like, I need to unplug this matrix. I need to get out of this
yeah.
because this is too much. But when you go out of your self-pity conversation and out of victimhood, you look and you're like, that's an interesting game. In fact, yesterday, something happened, and I'm digressing a lot in this conversation, so I apologies for that. But a person in my building passed away, and they passed away out of the blue, literally in front of. They were just about to get into their home, and
Oh, wow.
they felt very sick, and they literally died in front of their doorstep. And I was thinking, my gosh, if this happens to me, would I come back to play the game on planet Earth? I was like, you know what? I probably will.
Um,
I'd probably come back here because there's so much to play here. There's a lot of fun things happening on this planet.
there's a lot of fun things, and I think it's. But again, it's like something like we have to choose ourselves because those fun things they are not, running towards us most of the times. Like we have to go out there, and this is something else. So like I really went into myself with my parents passing, my
Mm-hmm.
kids being born, and right now it's like being more out, the more things start to happen because once you're in your little safe space, not much happening really. You have to
Right.
go out, and then like a lot of cool things happen. You meet interesting people, some opportunities come, and yeah, it's like you also I think I started to follow you like 2 years ago, and you were already on the quest to writing this book because sometimes you also post some questions to your community in your social media channels. And once you finish this book, what were maybe the most surprising things for yourself, like those kind of conclusions you came up to, and what, in your opinion, is the future of business for female? Like you already touched upon tech, I'm also like
Mm-hmm.
exploring the tech space, and I think that's definitely one of the areas. But maybe there were some other aspects you find out yourself, which maybe you didn't expect before and surprised even yourself.
So when I started writing this book 4 years ago, I was kind of like under the impression that things are going faster because when you are outside of things, that's why I think a lot of people are like, I'm not a feminist. And I'm like, well, do you know what's actually happening in the world? Because if you do, there's no way that you're not a feminist because the
Mm,
world is still really far behind. So a lot of us
mm,
live in our bubble, in kind of like the Western bubble, where we're like, oh, a woman can buy herself an apartment, a woman can open a bank account, a woman can now go and drive. But there's still places where women cannot do that. There's still places where
mm,
women cannot open a bank account. Do you know what that means? It means you don't have money. You don't have your own money. There's places where women are not allowed to work. So entrepreneurship, like them going on the streets and selling things, is the only way they can put a meal on the table. World hunger is dominated by women and kids, not males. So we still have these statistics. A child's marriages, like we have so many girls under the age of 10 marrying old men and getting pregnant at the age of 9 or 10, which is
wow.
absolutely mind blowing. We still have these crazy, crazy statistics about women and girls that when you live in your small bubble and you make your salary and you go twice a year on a vacation, you don't really realize what's happening in the world. But when you read these things and when you get to know these women, um, it's scary. And for me, that was one of the main things. For me, it was, whoa, I think we are actually ahead of time because some statistics, such as, for example, just one simple one, trafficking women for sexual abuse, women and kids, I want to add. It will take 300 years to get rid of this if we're moving with the speed that we're moving today. I don't have 300 years. I don't know if you have. I don't. If I have 30 years, that will be good. I'll be like, well, 30 years, that's good amount of time.
Mm,
I don't have 300 years. And honestly, when you actually, yes, things are happening, but they're happening so slow. So the pushback has to be more serious. So I've been getting people saying, I'm not a feminist, or like, no, why would you say the future has to be female? It should be both
mm,
because if we are moving with this philosophy of it should belong to both, yes, of course it should, but we need to push. The push is not enough. We're not
mm,
pushing enough. We're not pushing enough for equal positions. We're not pushing enough for a better leadership system. We're not pushing enough for health solutions for women. We're not pushing enough for grants. We're just not pushing enough. And so maybe in 100 years, we can stop with the narrative of the future is female. We can say, oh, okay, well, now it's kind of equal because now it's not. Like it
mm,
might seem that it is, but it's really on a surface level that it seems that things are working properly, but we can't stop now. It's almost like, we are in a state when I'm going to give a very simple example. When you've been working out for so long and you're finally seeing the results, and some might think it's a good idea to go and treat myself and stop going to the gym because look at the hard work that I've done. And this is where you jump off the wagon and then it starts going bad. So we've been really driving change. It's not the time to give up. It is the
mm,
time to have conversations. It is the time to advocate. It is the time to be more forward going. It is the time to ask questions. It is the time to say, no, no, no. No, listen to me. It is the time to say, no, I deserve more money. It is the time to say, you will not abuse me in this house. It is the time to say, I want a divorce. It is the time to say, I'm starting a company, and so on and so on. It is the time to also say, if I cannot get 4 days of leave every single month on my period, I'm out of this company. It is the time to
mm,
also say, if you are going to segregate me for the fact that I'm going to give birth and I'm going to have a child, you need to go to court. Like, this is what we need to have. And
mm,
women, this is one of the things we spoke about, what's holding women back. We don't ask for enough. and we are
Yes.
very close to say, oh, that's okay, I don't want to bother you. We and you should hear how men advocate for themselves if they are in the slightest
Mm-hmm.
discomfort. Men advocate. Have you seen a man having a flu?
Oh,
Everybody knows.
yeah.
And a
They
woman
do.
having a flu, nobody knows. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I'm okay. I have my flu. I'm on my period. And on top of all, I'm dealing with XYZ. You wouldn't even know. And so we need to be more vocal. We need to advocate more for ourselves. We need to ask. We need to insist. This is what stood out for me in the book because I thought that we are in a good position. And yes, don't get me wrong, things are getting better
They are, yeah,
for sure. We cannot say things when people say, oh, back in the days life was so much better. I'm like, back in which days? Do you read history?
mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you like what are you talking about? It's so
Yeah.
much better. Life has been getting better in every single way, but we can't stop. We have to keep on pushing.
Yeah, and being also really more honest about it, because so here we have like a lot of awesome initiatives, and they are initiatives, but then on the execution level the reality is still different, and we kind of see it as a women, but we are afraid to speak up because we afraid to lose even that seat at the table where we can sit
Yeah.
quietly, you know. We're happy to get that quiet seat, but it's the only way how the change can happen. And yeah, this resonates also with me a lot, like a lot, and it's one of the reasons why I also admire you, how boldly and honestly you speak about it.
Mhm.
And I also wanted to ask, since I'm running mindfulness and soul development platform, and I know you also have shared sometimes with your auditory that also inner work is part of your journey. And how do you see how the future of inner work and also healing and mindfulness, self development integrates within your life, within business, and in general, maybe in life of humanity? Because I know you also work with a lot of coaches and healers, and it's also part of your customers.
Mhm. So remember, I've already said a few things that relate a lot to this. So first of all, I've said it's so strange that we don't spend the time to get to know ourselves. Like, who
Mm,
is this being? So that kind of work is so important for you to actually get to know the deepest levels of yourself. And I often look at myself and I'm in awe because I'm like, wow, I'm this complex human being. It is so fascinating to get to know me. What do I actually want? How do I? It's like a mini project because you're like a mini science lab that you can every single day observe. And when something happens, you can detach yourself and be like, huh, it's interesting that I think this. It's interesting that
mm,
I feel this. It's interesting that I'm going through this. Oh, look at what how life happens. Isn't that interesting? And so for me, self-development and internal work, it's so important not to manifest anything, not to get rich, not to get successful, but just to understand this unique ecosystem that is you. So we often look outside. We're like, where are the aliens? Ooh, space. Ooh, the
mm,
ocean. Ooh, this. Oh, let's travel to a new country. And I'm like, you haven't spent enough time to get to know this here,
yes.
and you're going externally, and we have so many tools, including the platform that you offer and that you're creating. We have so many tools to go within. Then, in terms of healing, we have to do the healing work because of what we spoke now. All these programs that are running, unfortunately, I carry my
Mm,
mom's program, I carry my mom's mom's program, my mom's
yeah.
mom's mom's program. It's like a printer machine. And actually research proves that
Mm,
trauma is stuck in the DNA. It is proved. It's not woo woo. So literally it
mm,
is like a printer. That's why a lot of people say, so I'm a millennial, and the generations before me, they're like, you're the snowflake generation. And I'm like, I carry your shit, bitch, so shut up. Like, I carry
mm,
your trauma in my
mm,
thing because you didn't take care of that. So it's literally, if you've seen a printer, so the printer prints, print. So it's
yeah.
all of the generations before us, and then oh, all of a sudden, the font. is lighter, and then it's lighter, and then you could barely see what's happening. And this is literally what happens to us. So we're like printed generation after generation after generation, and nobody has done the work.
Yeah.
Nobody.
No, no, we are first generation, I think. Yeah.
Nobody. We're the first generation, I think, strongly millennials, and maybe before us, like a few years before us, but the millennials, I think, started this generation of like healing, and let's understand our traumas and how they affect us. Let's take care of them with different modalities. And so we want the printer to start printing properly. Like a lot of people ask, why do women have autoimmune diseases? Why do we have more cancer with women? Why do women get more heart attacks? Why do women get more dementia and Alzheimer? I speak about this in the book. It is because of trauma, because it affects us. And we are noticing, by the way, another thing you asked me, what is the thing that really stood out for you in the book? It was the research that actually shows that society, especially women, is getting sicker. They're
Oh,
not getting
wow.
healthier. Yeah, that was a shock. Women are actually getting sicker. And of course, people might say, well, it's because we're testing more, which is true. So we're getting tested more. Before that, people will be sick and they probably won't. Now they will die. And that's it. Now we're testing more. So I agree we're testing more. And I agree we have more awareness. And I agree that it is because mm, also medicine became so much better, so now it's easier to diagnose and to find the diseases, but also we're starting to find new things that are reappearing, especially cognitive problems.
Mm.
And one of the problems when it comes to cognitive diseases, specifically for women, is the fact that we don't do enough, you know
Mm.
kind of work like this. So this is a problem that we have. And then lastly, we're going to go back to what I told you with playing the game. I think the game of life is really dull and boring and superficial if we don't play it consciously.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you play chess. I'm a master chess player, and I like becoming better at playing chess. Like I can play probably like somebody who's the beginner and still checkmate people. But at this point, I want to learn to play the game of chess better.
Mm.
Same with life. I don't want to just make money and create these companies and then I look back and I'm like, I'm the biggest enigma in my life. I don't want that life.
Mm.
No, thank you. I don't want this. I don't. So, inner work is important for you to also get to know who you are, experience life through a different perspective, because you can literally go through the same experiences and have a totally different understanding and
Yeah.
experience of the whole thing if you are a different type of a person. And it comes with work. Identity work is so important. I work with so many women, and a lot of the time I'm like, you are just not in the right identity. You're not in the identity of a CEO. You're
Mm.
not in the identity of a wealthy woman. You are stuck in another identity that is going to keep you making the same money, making the same decisions, dating the same people, answering the same kind of way, having the same kind of conversation, and the outcomes will never change, no matter what you do. So
Yeah.
these are just a few things that just make internal work as important as any type of work. Now, the only thing that I want to add to this is you can still make money while doing the work. You can still build companies while you do the work. So, a lot of people get stuck into, oh, I need to be embodied. Oh, I need to be aligned. Oh, I need to heal. Oh, blah, blah,
Mm.
blah, blah, blah. And they don't do the other work.
Mm.
So find the balance. Nothing will be perfect. Like some days you will showing up better in your business, other days you'll be showing up better for yourself, and then the next day you'll be showing up better in the gym. It's just about you navigating all these human experiences.
Yeah, and at the end, it's kind of complementary. The outer work, the business helps me to strengthen my identity, and the more inner work I do, the more I don't know, secure and confident can show up in business, and so it just like
Totally.
grows together. We are also slowly coming towards the end of conversation, but I wanted to ask, like, there was the question about how to buy the book, and to my newsletter list already sent the link. But for all the other followers, maybe I will add the link under conversation. But I also wanted to ask, like, what are the ways right now you work with the women? Because you also mentioned you have over 20,000 students, and of course you haven't have done individual work with each one of them. So, if now most of the people will listen later, they are interested in what you do, how they can follow you, and also what you're offering right now.
So first with the book, if you go to my Instagram right now, the main link in bio would take you to the book.
Okay.
I highly suggest that you go through our link to get the book, because once you do that and fill in the form, you get a complimentary workbook. As when you go directly to Amazon and find your store, because we are across all stores, Amazon stores,
Hmm.
if you do that, you will not get the complimentary book, just because
Okay.
we're not related to Amazon. And then I've worked with 5,000 women privately. So if you want to do private work, reach out. If this is in your stars for 2026, I have a lot of limited spots. So the spots are limited.
Mm.
They are very limited. That's what I wanted to say. And then you can have a variety of ways to work with me. I have so many courses that you can do at your own pace. I have group programs that you can also do with me. So they are a hybrid. You have a portal where you can have your videos and watch the videos, and also you can have the support on the live calls. You can be part of my mastermind as well, Scale Mastermind 2026. Actually, we only have one spot
Oh, okay.
available, because I keep my groups small. So if you want to get a group kind of a setting, but also a lot of one-on-one support by me directly, this is the space to be. And then, as I said, there is a variety. Just get in touch with me, send me a DM, ask me what will be a good fit for you right now. And I've been in this for 13 years, so there is an abundance of ways that I can support you with different kind of elements, whether if it is about your identity, or it is about strategy, or it is about content, or it is about marketing, is about sales, whatever it is, we have a solution for that.
Thank you. And yeah, I have bought some of your online products. And one thing I would like to also add that they are very practical. It's not like, inspirational story. It's like, okay, you have to do like this and this and this. And
Yes,
it helps
I
me.
don't have inspirational stories, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. My social media is inspirational,
Yeah.
but when you get into my coaching, it's literally, here's what you need to do. Here's the thing. Here's
Yeah.
how you need to do it. And then if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, we find another solution that actually works for the kind of a business that you have.
Yeah. It's like kind of even like dummy proof because you literally like guide it through and it helps when you also do it on your own. So,
That's the easiest, because that's literally, if you think about it's in every single thing. When you want to grow, you have some kind of a path, and you work with first principles. So you reverse engineer, you follow simple steps. This is the best way, because if you just go and you just fling it out, it might take a lot of time and a lot of mistakes and a
mm.
lot of brain energy for you to do things that could be done with just a few steps.
Yeah, and thank you so much for this conversation and for everyone who listened and who will listen also in the future. And I really, really happy that you share so honestly and also speak about a lot of things we would like to speak, but we are kind of sometimes afraid to speak and say them loud, call them out loud. That also gives permission and encouragement to all of us to do the same way and wish you all the best for the next year. And I'm really looking forward to follow you and see what's your next milestones. And also good luck with your startup because that's the area we also together
We
in.
we could have another conversation,
Yeah,
just me and you, about this, to share our founders' stories. But I
yeah,
wanted to say thank you so much for inviting me, and I want to
thank you.
invite all of the listeners. Everybody's going to watch this as a replay, to also join your platform, because you are working on something very big, and so reach out, ask how you can be part of this. This is a big movement, and I think it is absolutely imperative to support female entrepreneurs, but you will be also supported vice versa. So you're not just supporting a woman, you're also going to be supported. So definitely for the listeners to support you as well in your entrepreneurial journey.
Thank you, Ayo. And I think that's one of the things we need to do more as the women in general, less competition, more support, because there are
Exactly.
so much opportunities out there, like it's enough for all of us.
I agree. So, wishing
Thank you.
everybody an amazing 2026. I hope that in 2026 you are very healthy, very prosperous, and very fulfilled. And just make a wish, one thing you will achieve in 2026, and dare to dream much bigger. So
Mhm.
go and choose something that is stretching you enough. You know you can achieve it. It's stretching you enough, and let's all of us like give a pinky promise that we will make it
Yes.
happen. Pinky promise, whatever
Pinky
that will be,
promise.
and we're gonna follow up. Like next year, we're gonna
Yes.
come here and you're gonna tell us, "Oh, I made this. This is really important."
Yes, to follow through. And well, also, my wish for you and myself is that even you dream very big, that the next year challenges you and you get it done.
Yes, 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 yes. Let's go. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you all. And thank you,
Bye.
Ariel.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Ciao.